Lamar Jackson is not a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. This is what ESPN has come out with. According to NFL executives, coaches, and scouts, the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL in order are Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and then Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson follows in at 4th. Let's talk about it. Now, obviously, if you guys are new to the channel, first time seeing me, welcome to the channel. If you have seen me before, I apologize. I haven't uploaded in a couple of months, and that's because I was traveling a lot, and I finally settled down, finally back home, and I finally have my setup all situated. So hopefully you guys like the quality of the recording, and hopefully it all looks good. But if you don't know, TTB Gaming just got started up. Going to be trying to stream 3 times a week on that. I'll talk about just Ravens stuff on there. If you guys join and ask Ravens questions, I'll just talk Ravens football while I'm playing college football 26. But otherwise, if you want to watch me play video games, that's going to be there. But going to try and bring back the live streams on this channel as well and bring back that daily Ravens content, getting ready for preseason and then the NFL season. But let's jump right into it. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson at number 4 is ridiculous. I don't know how to explain it in another term, right? Because when you look at every possible angle as to why this could be, it doesn't make any sense. The logic doesn't sit. Because if you want to tell me Patrick Mahomes is number 1, I'm fine with that. If you want to say Josh Allen is number 2 because he's the reigning MVP, okay. I disagree. I'd take Lamar over them, but you know what? That's fine. That's reasonable, sound logic. I think Lamar should have won MVP, but whatever. But then when you put Joe Burrow ahead of Lamar Jackson, my thought is this. Why? Because Lamar finished ahead of him in MVP. He's dominated him in head-to-head statistics. And if your only reason is, well, Joe Burrow, he made the Super Bowl 5 years ago, I'd be like, okay, why is he below Josh Allen? Right? Like if making the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl gets you to these rankings, why is Jalen Hurts sitting at 9 and Jaden Daniels is at 5? Why is Matthew Stafford at 6 over Herbert? Right? Like this list is just, it doesn't make any sense, right? There's inherent bias. There's no sound reasoning that's given. They just kind of pull things and then they end up like writing a little bit of a spiel about it. But Lamar Jackson, the reason why they do it, well, there's obviously a couple of reasons. But one, it gets the most outrage. Lamar Jackson is one of the most beloved football players in the NFL, right? Not just from Ravens fans, because if it was just, oh, the fans of that team absolutely love him, right? Any quarterback that gets put too low is going to get like a huge national outrage and huge talking points, right? But that doesn't necessarily happen with Josh Allen. That doesn't necessarily happen with Patrick Mahomes. Now, Patrick Mahomes is popular, don't get me wrong. It doesn't happen with Justin Herbert. Like there's fans of these teams, but the reason why they do it is because, one, Lamar Jackson's a controversial, polarizing player. He shouldn't be. We all know why he's polarizing, and it's pure visual. It's people don't like the way that he looks. Like that's honestly the only reason why it's polarizing, right? But they can sell more ad slots. They can go out there and they can say, hey, first take, here's another segment for you. Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson, who's better quarterback? Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, who's the better quarterback? If you put Lamar Jackson ahead of Joe Burrow in this, people aren't talking about it. And so when ESPN does a debate, Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson, who's better, it doesn't get the same amount of clicks, doesn't get the same amount of views. The algorithm of TikTok, of YouTube, of Instagram Shorts, all of that stuff doesn't contain, it doesn't draw people in because people aren't already looking it up. Because people right now, they're looking this up and they're saying, wow, Lamar Jackson's at 4? This guy should potentially be a 3-time MVP, right? He had the first ever 40-4 season in NFL history. And that's not a rushing statistic. That's a pure passing. That is just looking at Lamar Jackson as a quarterback, as a pure passer. First ever. And yet they come out with these rankings because people will click. And, you know, there's other things that people will be outraged about, right? They'll be able to talk about Jalen Hurts. Because Jalen Hurts, obviously coming off a Super Bowl, Eagles fans are huge. They're going to be like, oh, is he only the 9th best quarterback in the NFL? I don't mind putting Jalen Hurts at 9. I'll put out my top 5 ranking, my quarterback ranking. I think the top 5 should be very clear. If you disagree, put it in the comment section down below. But my top 5 quarterbacks: Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, totally flippable, in my opinion. I think they do two different things. They're in two different situations. But I think the top 3 are very clear. And honestly, I'm fine if you interchange any of the top 3 because there's different things that matter, right? I think the best individual player is Lamar Jackson. I think the best winner is going to be Patrick Mahomes, right? You got to just win the game. You're probably giving it to Patrick Mahomes. He's the best at doing it in the NFL. He's the most clutch quarterback in the NFL. And then if you say like, hey, I want to run like kind of a prototypical offense, who's going to be the most spectacular? It's probably going to be Josh Allen, right? But that's fine. There's legitimate arguments to be made for all those 3. But Joe Burrow has no argument other than he's the best pocket passer in the NFL, but that's a hindrance, right? Like Joe Burrow, you don't want him outside the pocket. Every other quarterback in the top 5, including Jane Daniels, or in my top 5, Justin Herbert, you can get them on the move. You can get them running. They can scramble for extra yards. They bring a completely new dynamic, extra element, right? We've seen what happens to Joe Burrow's offenses. Yeah, they put up points and then they lose games. They don't control the clock because they have to throw the ball every play. They take sacks. That's how he ends up taking a sack. They get destroyed. He's very good pocket awareness, very good footwork in the pocket, great at avoiding pressure. He's probably the best pressure avoider inside the pocket in the NFL. He's probably the best since Tom Brady at doing it. That doesn't mean he's the best at avoiding sacks. Obviously, the guys that can scramble are better. But Joe Burrow, very difficult to sack, especially for how athletic he is. But him over Lamar Jackson, when you look at it last year, Lamar Jackson probably had better passing stats. It's arguable for sure. Joe Burrow, triple crown or almost triple crown. He had the triple crown wide receiver, yards and touchdowns. But Lamar Jackson, maybe the most efficient quarterback season of all time as a passer. And then you add on his rushing and you're like, wow, this guy's just incredible. Because that's what he does. And then the Ravens go out and they win more games. Lamar Jackson does his thing. And unfortunately, the Ravens go down in the playoffs to the Buffalo Bills on a dropped 2-point conversion. Not saying the Ravens would have won that game. Josh Allen had time, minute and a half, just under 2 minutes left. They could have absolutely driven down and won the game. And Josh Allen should have gotten his flowers if that happened. But if not, it goes into overtime. Then you'd say, Lamar Jackson lost an overtime game or Lamar Jackson won an overtime game against Josh Allen. But unfortunately, we didn't get to see it. The drop happened. We moved on. Mark Andrews has moved on. Lamar's moved on. We're good with it. I mean, we're not good with it, but, we are content with it. We've accepted it, or maybe we haven't. But the reason they do this is to get people angry and to get people to click onto their website. And to give YouTubers like me an opportunity to come back from not posting for a little bit, because now I've definitely got something to talk about. I was going to talk about Isaiah Likely contract extension, which I'll probably talk about tomorrow, but it's just ridiculous. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts, your opinions, your top 10, your top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. Make sure to check out TTB Gaming. If you just want to give a subscribe and never click on a video, I would still appreciate that. That would still help the channel out. Or not. If you want to subscribe to this channel, Ravens content every day is back. Thank you all so much, and I'll see all of you again tomorrow.